even though you make use of good hash functions, you cannot completely avoid those collisions, right? It is impossible to avoid the collisions, but therefore the collisions will occur in hashing concept, but you still have to handle those collisions when two keys have the same hash value, not only two keys, more than two keys, right? Even though you use any hash function, very good hash function, at any particular point of time, at some time you will get collisions in the hashing. So in order to avoid collisions, you should have some mechanisms to handle those collisions. So the hash method is not guaranteed to return a unique integer for each key. For example, BA, AB, AB, BA. This we have discussed right now, right? So both of them will have the same index value. That is nothing but the collision. So there are several ways to handle these collisions. One is the linear probing, quadratic probing, and the third one is the separate chaining. So this is these are called as collision handling mechanisms or collision resolution techniques. So it is a systematic method for placing the collided item in the hash table. As I told that you cannot skip any element. You cannot skip any element if there is a collision. You have to store all the elements. So if there is a collision, you should provide some procedure to avoid that collision or to eradicate that collision, and you should make sure that the elements are stored inside the hash table, right? So it is a systematic method to place the collided item. A collision resolution technique is nothing but a systematic method for placing the collided item in the hash table. Right, there are two methods which we have discussed: linear probing, quadratic probing, and chaining. So the linear probing and quadratic probing comes under the category of open addressing. So there are two categories of open addressing, that is linear probing and quadratic probing, and the third one is the concept of chaining. So we have only few slides more: the linear probing, quadratic probing, and chaining. Coming to linear probing, as the name suggests, you will probe the things linearly. Probing means you just invoke, right? You just invoke it in a linear fashion. So whenever you have a collision, then you set sequentially for an unoccupied position. It's something like a linear search. You start your search from that position in a linear fashion until you find a vacant position. Whenever you find a vacant position, then you just insert it. So it uses a wrap around concept. Therefore, there is no concept of erase here. It's not a linear queue. It's a concept of circular queue. Right. So it is wrapped around. Therefore, whenever there is a collision at the last position, this is last position, then you can go and search in the first position. That's what he wants to say, right? For example, you take this table. We have the table size as 309. Is it 309 or 308? So the index starts with 0 and ends with 308. Therefore, the size is 309. So the size of the table or the size of the array is 309. And I want to insert three objects or three values, that is ABBA, ABCD, and ABCE. If you take the normal division method, so A, B, BA should be converted into integers. Therefore, it is equal to 97 plus 98 plus 98 plus 97. Right. It's 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 10, 100. It is around 390, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. 390. So you divide this 390 with 309. What is the answer? One time it is 81. Right. So ABBA is stored here. Similarly, you go for ABCD, which is equal to 97 plus 98 plus 99 plus 100. It is 395 divided by some 309, something like this. So you will get the index value as ABCD. And similarly, if you want to store this ABCE, you calculate in the same manner and you divide it with the table size, which is equal to 309, then it will be indexed to 86. Therefore, all the three keys are stored. There is no collision here, right? Now you go for another insertion. BAAB, right? ABBA is indexed to 81. Let us calculate for BAAB. That is 98 plus 97 plus 97 plus 98, which is equal to again 390. Modulo divided with 309, which is nothing but size, which is equal to 81. But 81 is already occupied by ABBA. So what you have to do, according to linear probing, very important concept. Students, please listen carefully. We'll have very good examples or very good questions on this linear probing and quadratic probing. Very important topic, right? So whenever you got a collision at 81, you have to search linearly for the empty positions. So after 81, if you look at this example, after 81, if you probe it linearly, we have an empty location at 82. Therefore, you have to store this BAAB in this 82, right? For example, we have another string called ABAB. This also results in 390 only. And if you modulo divide it with 301, 309, it results in 81. Therefore, 81 is already occupied by ABBA. You go for the linear probing. Linear probing means you search for the second element, the consecutive element or the next element of 81, which is 82. Therefore, here also you find that BAAB is already occupied by in the location 82. Again, you go for another location, that is 83. Therefore, you can store the element ABAB here. Right? That's the meaning of this linear probing, where you have to probe it in the sequential fashion one by one. And this is one example which I want to discuss. As you know that the table, the hash table is treated in a circular array. For example, we have discussed this concept of storing ABBA, BAAB, and ABAB also discussed, and ABCD is discussed, ABC is discussed. Let me discuss this KLMP. Assume that KLMP is inserted at 308, which is the last location. Listen. So KLMP is indexed to 308, therefore it is stored in the last location. Now after that, I want to store the IKLT. Assume that IKLT also, this is just an example. Assume that 308, the IKLT is also indexed to 308. So according to linear probing, you have to search the next element, but there is no next element here. But I told that it is a wraparound concept. Therefore, if after the last element, the next element that is to be probed is the first element, 0th index. Therefore, IKLT is stored in the 0th index, right? I think you are clear about this linear probing. Now the concept of how to find the object with key BAAB. See, in the same fashion, you find the index for BAAB, that is, it is 390 modulo division 309, which always results in 81. You go and check whether BAAB is equal to the element that is present inside this 81. It's not equal. So what you will do? You linear probe. Linear probe means you go and search in the next location. That is 82 is searched. You check whether BAAB is equal to the element that is present inside this 82. Both are equal. This is how we go for the search operation in the linear probing. For example, if you are going to search for ABAB, ABAB again points out to 81. It is not equal. ABBA is not equal to ABAB. It will go and search in the 82nd location. Therefore, BAAB is not equal to ABAB, and again it will go and search this 83 location, which is ABAB. Right. So the main disadvantage of this linear probing is clustering. Clustering means all the elements will be located in the adjacent locations, right? All the elements will be located in the adjacent locations. There is no equal distribution or uniform distribution of the values in the table is not satisfied. This is one of the important property of a good hash function. Therefore, uniform distribution is not possible in the linear probing. All the elements that indexes to the same value will be stored in the consecutive location. That's the reason why there is a probability that all the elements get coagulated in some locations. For example, this is one cluster, this is another cluster, this is another cluster. So clusters will be formed here, which makes the remaining operations like searching very difficult, right? Now comes the last topic of our discussion, that is quadratic probing. In linear probing, you start searching, or the main disadvantage of the linear probing is clustering problem, right? In order to avoid this clustering problem, or in order to distribute the values in the given hash table uniformly, there is a solution for this primary clustering problem, that is nothing but the quadratic probing. Quadratic probing we'll discuss, right? So it eliminates the primary clustering problem. Assume that h value is the value of the hash function, which is nothing but the hash, right? So in linear probing, what you will do is, whenever you get a collision, so whenever you get a collision, you will probe in the successive locations. That means, for example, you get 139 as the h value. 139 is my h value. So according to linear probing, what is the next location you want to search? That is nothing but 140. That is nothing but h value plus 1. And the next value is 141, which is nothing but h value plus 2. And the next location you want to probe is 142. That is h value plus 3. And h value plus 4, and so on. So you go on incrementing by 1. You go on incrementing the hash value by 1, and then you have to find the indexes. But in quadratic probing, very important, you have some questions on this quadratic probing also. So please concentrate. In quadratic probing, what you will do is, you will add the index values. It's not in powers of 2, in powers of probing, right? It's not powers, in multiplication. In multiplication, right? For example, if the first value, that is h value, is 10. So if you have a collision at h value 10, what you will do? You have to probe the next location. You have to search for the next location. The next location will be h value plus, why? Because it is the first probe. For the first probe, the h value plus 1 star 1, that is h value plus 1, which is nothing but 11th location will be searched. Assume that 11 is also occupied by some element. In such case, you have to go for the second probe. Remember, this is the probe number, right? So what you will do is h value plus second probe, that is 2 into 2. Multiplication of probe number, or power of probe. It's not power of 2, it's powers of probe value, probe number. I'll change it, right? So what we will do, it is h value plus 2 star 2, that is 4. H value plus 4, that is 10 plus 4, which is 14. So after 11, you will search the location 14. Assume that 14 is also occupied. Therefore, you have to go for the third probe. Third probe says that h value plus 3 star 3, that is h value is 10 plus 9, that is 19. Therefore, after 14, you have to search 19. So next probe, fourth probe, which is nothing but h value plus 4 into 4, 16, that is 26. Therefore, after 19, you will search 26. You can observe that there is no problem of clustering, right? So after 10, you search for 11. After 11 you search for 14 and then 19 and then 26. Like that you go on increasing the size in a quadratic manner. Quadratic manner means it will be in the powers of probe number. Very important concept. In some textbooks it will be given as powers of 2 also. It's not an issue. That means for the first probe it will be 2 power 1, for the second probe it will be 2 square, for the third probe it will be 2 cube, 2 power 4, like that it will be there. This is also correct. It's not an issue. It's always true, right? And here in this example I have taken as powers of probe number. So quadratic probing works very well if the table size is prime. This is the primary constraint of any hashing. Whatever size you take the table size, that should be prime. If it is that shouldn't, it's not mandatory that it should be prime. You can take the other things also, but if you take the prime, then it will have a lot of advantages, right? So coming to the last point, that is separate chaining. Very last topic. Separate chaining is an alternative to probing. You won't probe in a linear fashion, or you won't probe the next locations in a quadratic fashion. What you will do is you will separately chain them. Whenever there is a collision, you create a new node and you form a chain of linked lists. Again, the concept of linked list. Linked list concept is very important. So separate chaining means whenever there is a collision happens for the same index value. So instead of making use of the linear probing or the quadratic probing where you will probe for the next locations or in the quadratic manner, what you will do is you will simply create a node. You create a node and then you chain them. That's what it is meaning. That's what he is saying. It is called as separate chaining. So you maintain an array of lists. Very easy concept, which we have seen the adjacency list. Same thing happens here, right? Hash to same place, always insert at the beginning or at the end of the linked list. Either you can insert at the beginning or at the end of the linked list. For example, you take this thing where we have the array size starts from 0, 1, 2 and assume that AB points to A. AB is stored like this. So whenever AB is pointing to this first location, you never store this AB here. Whenever you want to store the element, you make this as a 1D array, and whatever location is there, you have to create a linked list like this. You create a node and you store the value of AB inside it. And assume that the second element BA is there. BA came, and assume that BA also indexes to 1. In such case, there is a collision. So you don't go for the probing concept. Instead, you create a node for this BA and you add it as the next element, or you add it as the last element to the linked list of the node 1. Right. So AB is already there. After that, BA is there, and then you create a node and add it as the last one. For example, assume that another element also indexes to this one. So instead of this one, what you will do, you create a node like BC assumption, right? And you add it, and this will be the null value, right? So the same concept of linked list, and it looks something similar to that of the adjacency list, which we have discussed, right? So here we don't have the concept of clustering. So this is another example where there are 3 elements, 77, 44 and 55 are having a linked list that is indexed to 0. Similarly, there is only one element, 26 indexed to 4, 93 indexed to 5, 17 indexed to 6. But there are 2 elements, 31 and 20 that are indexed to 9 and 54 indexed to 10. Just give me 1 minute. So that's how the chaining concept works, and this is the summary. Hashing involves transforming a key to produce an integer into a fixed number or fixed range, which ranges from 0 to table size -1. This we have discussed, and the searching time complexity is big O of 1. That's also we have discussed. The function that transforms the key into array index is known as hash function. When two data values produce the same hash value, we get a collision, and collision resolution is a procedure that is followed to resolve these collisions, or to provide some solution to these collisions. This is done by searching the next open slot at or after the position given by the hash function. And wrapping around, we know this concept. The arrays are always wrapped around, so the last location is connected to the first location, right? And another collision resolution technique is to store the table as an array of linked lists. Is to store the table as array of linked lists and to keep each array index of the values that yield the hash function, known as separate chaining. Most often the data stored in hash table includes both a key field and a data field. That's why we call them as key value pairs. The key field determines where to store the value. A lookup on that key will then return the value that is associated to that key, right? So that's all about our phase 1.